that she got a call from an unknown number when it comes to the entire gold smuggling racket. That's the pitch coming in from Ranya Rao, who has said that the entire gold smuggling racket is something that has shocked the entire Kannada film industry. Also, we've got the statement of the constable who was involved in allowing Ranya Rao access to skip those security checks. He has also said that he helped Ranya Rao skip those security checks after getting permission as well as orders from senior police officials. This has also come as the DRI has now pushed the CBI to investigate a wider gold smuggling nexus.
The state police officers, they used to escort that lady when she was going abroad. They used to avoid custom checking. Under the instruction of some Congress minister, they have given protection to her. State government should come clean on this. This is number one.
So, according to the BJP, for every issue CBI is the answer. CBI is investigating. Let them investigate. Why are they politicizing everything? We had issued an order asking the additional chief secretary level officer, because an IPS officer as a cadre management authority is the DPR. So therefore we had asked. The first order which was issued is entrusting this inquiry by naming the DG officer, who is the father of Ranya, Ramchandra Rao, and asking for an inquiry. The second order was a general order to CID for the protocol violations. Since the first inquiry covers this also, there is no question of two inquiries.
Well, see, it's the prerogative of the government. There is CBI, there is DRI investigating it, and they were, the opposition only were going hammer and tongue saying that we are trying to scuttle the investigation and everything. Whatever it is, let it happen free and fair if they think so. We also run a quite a capable agency over here. There is no question of succumbing to anybody's pressure. We work independently and we work transparently, and the government of Karnataka does not work at the behest or at the criticisms of the opposition.
And I'm joined by my colleague Sudhat Bhardwaj on the broadcast. Sudhat, give us the details. These are some startling revelations coming in from Ranya Rao when it comes to the investigation by the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, as well as the possible investigation by the CBI into a gold nexus emanating from Dubai.
Well, some astonishing revelations have come from the entire probe. As you can see, the statement that has been accessed by a Constable Baswaraju, Protocol Constable Baswaraju, he says that DGP Ramchandra Rao, who is the MD of the Police Housing Corporation, pressurized protocol officers so that his stepdaughter Ranya Rao could avail these protocol privileges to bypass security checks. Now we see in a detailed statement to the DRI, she has said that this was the first time that she actually smuggled gold from Dubai to India. This contradicts her own previous statements that she actually had smuggled gold from Dubai on 2 previous occasions to India. So while there has been a meticulous planning behind this entire fiasco, behind this entire smuggling mafia, there also seems to be a lot of contradictory statements from Ranya Rao's side. But what's astonishing is that she has also meticulously planned this in a manner where she has watched YouTube videos to see how she can conceal gold better. You also see that she had cut tapes ready well in advance so that she could conceal the gold correctly, because scissors are not being allowed at the airports. She has cut tapes in the necessary size to cover up all the gold. You see that she mentions that she was called on for 2 previous weeks from a man with an Afro-American accent to arrive at the Terminal 3 in the Dubai airport and then to smuggle gold at a particular point outside the Bengaluru airport where an auto would come there so that she could send the gold to that particular auto. So there seems to be an entire nexus, a well-planned smuggling operation here. But really shocking, astonishing revelations really coming coming in from Ranya Rao's statement. While she contradicts her own statement before that she had smuggled gold on 2 previous occasions, she does mention that she has met people who have called her on various occasions, someone with an Afro-American accent. This is perhaps very well establishing that there is an international nexus in play here. There seems to be a clear plan from start to finish, from where to receive the gold to where to hand it over in Bengaluru. Everything seems to be planned really well, and the fact that she has also watched YouTube videos as to how to actually conceal all this further kind of perhaps exposes how well she was involved in the operation, how well this entire nexus was planned out, and with the CBI also probing, the ED also probing this entire case as well. You have multiple agencies now probing this entire matter, shows the high profile nature of it. What more will be uncovered in the coming days? Who all actually was she involved with? Are there any more links in the countries she has mentioned before, like Europe and Middle East? Are there more people in play here? Who are all the people who have actually managed to contact her? How did she book those flight tickets? Where was she handed over the gold from? All this is something that still has to be uncovered.
Right, and Siddharth, at the same time, this has also sparked a political war of words between the Congress and the BJP. The BJP primarily also claiming that several public officials could also be involved in this, given the fact that the privilege of passing the checks at the Bengaluru airport is something that has been extended by several top police officials to their family members. And clearly under that garb, Ranya Rao was able to smuggle gold so easily into the country.
Yes, clearly a lot of concerns are being raised in this regard, even as shocking revelations come by every day on the Ranya Rao smuggling case. We still see politicking continuing in this regard. While questions were asked at the BJP about the 12 acres of KIDB land that was allotted to Ranya Rao for an industry to be run in Tumkur-Shira, the BJP continues to ask questions, citing pictures where Home Minister G. Parameswaran and CM Siddaramaiah supposedly entered and attended the wedding of Ranya Rao several months ago. They say that this is proof enough that there is clear link of ministers in this entire fiasco. Not only that, the BJP believes the fact that state protocol officers were misused for various privileges that Ranya Rao enjoyed in the smuggling case. It is clearly, more influence that has been wielded from someone within the government. They feel the protocol officers have been misused as a result of the government's mistakes, the state government's mistakes. But the Congress continues to defend, saying that the center and the central agencies are actually to be blamed for the entire smuggling case, and that smuggling of this nature, this much amount of gold to be smuggled, cannot be done easily without some amount of support from the center. So politicking still continues in this regard, even as we see astonishing revelations in the Ranya Rao case every day.
Right, thank you, Siddharth, for getting us the latest on that front. We will continue to track all the developments coming in, but shifting focus to Tamil Nadu, there is no end to the Hindi imposition war in the state, and the latest development coming in where Stalin has escalated his attack on the centre. The Tamil Nadu government has dropped the official rupee symbol from the state's budget this year and replaced it with a Tamil script. The move has triggered a fresh political face-off. Tamil Nadu BJP chief K. Anna Malai has now slammed the DMK, saying Uday Kumar, who designed the rupee symbol, is the son of a former DMK MLA.
Mr. Uday Kumar, how do you first see this decision that's been taken by the DMK-led Stalin administration of dropping the rupee symbol from the budget session this time around?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me. So I just got to hear about the news, and there are a lot of media channels are also calling me on the same point. It's the state government, they have taken a decision, so I do not know what I can comment on. So it's their decision, and yes. So that is where it is,
Okay, so Mr. Kumar, I just wanted to understand from you, because we did have the spokesperson of the DMK where they claim that we have no issues with, talking about a person's creativity. In this case, you, Mr. Kumar, that you have designed that symbol, but dropping the rupee symbol is not against your creativity or against your art. It is about the larger point that Tamil Nadu as a state really is making. Do you agree with that statement, sir?
Well, whether I agree or not, it is their decision, because that is based on certain facts which they would have felt, and so I'm not so sure. So I do not know. I, as an individual, what I can comment on that, because it's the government which has taken the decision. So yeah, it's fine. So I don't
Mr.
know.
Kumar, do you feel disrespected because of this?
It's okay because see, many times when all your designs are not successful, so sometimes you fail. So if you take that as a disrespectful, you cannot grow as a person, yes, as a designer especially. So it's okay. It's a challenge that probably in the future maybe it's a learning experience. You move on and then learn through.
From your state, from Tamil Nadu, and considering we're also talking about a party which has been your father's party.
Well, yeah, my father was an MLA even before I was born. So, I mean, right now he's old and he's just in his hometown on his own living. So, I mean, probably there's no, I do not see a connection there. Probably it's a coincidence which has happened. But, yeah, like I said, it's a government decision. So, I do not know how I can comment on it. But, yeah, anyway, all this while, even the state government was using the symbol. So, in that sense, you already said that it is validated in itself.
Yes.
So it's a decision which the government suddenly felt that probably there is a need for a change. Maybe they have decided. So it's up to them.
Your response to what the DMK has done today?
So they say, in English, they say it is the last straw on the camel's back. They say that the camel will inevitably collapse. I believe today what the DMK has done, trying to replace the Indian rupee symbol, is the last straw on the camel's back, on the language war. They've taken it too far, and probably they have entered into a zone from which there is no coming back. And this is going to blow back very, very hard on them because Tamil people are very fiercely nationalistic. They're against the Hindi imposition that happened in 1965. That is a thing of a past. That's an old era. Now, when nobody is forcing anybody to learn anything, DMK artificially trying to rake up the language row, delimitation row, now even going right up to the symbol is nonsensical, sir. It is going to blow back very, very hard. I don't think DMK has also entered a zone from which there is no coming back for them.
Dr. Dharmalingam Uday Kumar is currently a professor of design at IITG. He is the one who designed this rupee symbol. And he is the son of a former DMK MLA, Thiruvannamalai.
Correct, sir. Mr. Uday Kumar, among the public, when the symbol thing was called for, when he submitted his design, when his design was accepted, his father, who was a 1971 DMK MLA, he said it is a pride moment for Tamil Nadu, it's a pride moment for his family. And that is the exact statement he said then. And the whole of Bharat accepted it. Nobody from Assam said, oh, it is from a Tamilian. Nobody from UP said it is from a Tamilian. The whole of India accepted it. It came in a very transparent process. Now the DMK government, I am very, very sure, sir, when they started the issue at 12 o'clock today noon, many in the DMK did not know it is by a Tamilian. Almost none in DMK know it is by a former MLA's son. After it was brought out in the national channels, now DMK is going back. And they're trying to say, no, you're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. We never wanted to do it. In fact, if you look at the DMK's propaganda channel, Sun TV, they had a 2-minute video which was played at 12:30 today. The 2-minute video clearly showed in the rupee, in the coin, the rupee symbol was replaced by ru. So they already made a plan. They devised a video. They're playing in the propaganda channel with a coin. And now suddenly they're claiming, no, there is not an intention. Sir, I don't think this is playing to the gallery also. When Kalaignar Karunanidhi used to be there, he never allowed language war to spill out to a certain context. He always kept it in control to reap political dividends. Now, these people have taken it too far. There's no coming back. It has to inevitably blow back on their face, sir.
Sentiment coming in from the BJP. I'm joined by my colleague Purnima Murli on the broadcast. So Purnima, clearly, while everyone is saying that this entire move is aimed at the state elections next year, clearly this Hindi phobia pitch now going too far in Tamil Nadu.
The DMK time and again maintains that the central government, the Union government, is trying to impose Hindi through NEP and three-language formula, and therefore, in a symbolic move, they've decided to replace the currency, the symbol, with the Tamil currency, and that is something that they say is symbolic of their belief that the party will ensure that Hindi is not enforced and three language can never be implemented in Tamil Nadu. BJP calls this a bad move, and this hasn't gone down well with the BJP, but this is going to escalate further in the run-up to the 2026 State Assembly poll.
Right, and Purnima, at the same time, the DMK also making this point that this is something that they're doing to protect Tamil pride, with the BJP also using this ammunition to corner the DMK government. Many experts are saying that the DMK is trying to consolidate the entire Dravidian vote, given the fact that the state elections are next year. Do you think that the DMK finds itself on a political weak wicket? That's why it's going, so aggressively for this pro-Tamil and anti-Hindi pitch, given the fact that there are new players as well in the political arena, namely actor Vijay?
Absolutely. In the run-up to the 2026 state assembly polls, the DMK wants to keep these two issues alive, which is the NEP Indian position as well as delimitation. Considering that actor-turned politician Vijay is also making his debut this time around, the DMK wants to ensure that it sets the narrative for 2026 elections. The BJP also now says, BJP hits out at the DMK, saying that at a time when there has been a deteriorating law and order situation, the DMK is using these only to divert the attention of the people, especially at a time when there have been incidents in crime against students and women. The DMK has decided to talk about this only to divert the attention. That's been the stance taken by the BJP. However, DMK is very clear that these are the issues that are going to be the key narratives for the 2026 state assembly polls, and they are trying to garner the support of other states as well going forward. They're saying that opposition parties in the country are united. But as far as the Congress is concerned, we'll have to see whether the Congress will support DMK's delimitation drive as well as the stance that they are taking. Will the Congress also be actively playing a role? That's going to be interesting.
Right. Thank you, Purnima, for getting us the latest. Let's listen into more reactions coming in.
This usage of Ru is to signify the protest of the state of Tamil Nadu against the policies of the union government, whereby they are deceiving us. They are cheating the people of Tamil Nadu by not giving us the funds which devolved to us by the constitution. We wanted the money which is meant for SSA scheme, Samagra Shishya Abhiyan scheme, which was introduced in the year 2018. They are tying that with PMC schools. They wanted to establish PMC schools in the state of Tamil Nadu.
See, using the mother tongue for all purposes is the theme of any union government principles what they have set. So naturally it is fallen in that lines. So we are utilizing whatever the union government is suggesting. All the leaders are speaking that BJP is trying to find all type of issues to provoke us. That's happening. It is very clear that we are very clearly that we had a Tamil transcript of the budget, Nidhi Nilai Arikai. So for that rule has been used. Everywhere if you go, if everyone wants to write Rupee, it should be only rubai, right? So we are using the mother tongue for official purposes, which is mandated everywhere.
They have ruled Tamil Nadu for so many times. They have submitted the budget for so many times. Why they want to act like this, dramatize like this? So they were in the power, in the center for so many years. Why didn't they think about that? So it's a federal setup. They have to respect the national symbols. We are not against using Tamil. If I tell now, immediately they will tell, oh, BJP is against using Tamil. We are also Tamilians. In fact, my name is Tamil name. I challenge whether Stalin will change his name into Tamil name. He is not even having a Tamil name. Just to dramatize and to deviate the failure of the Tamil Nadu government, they are doing all this.
Ahead of tomorrow's budget, we have released one logo. You know that in that universal rupee symbol has been replaced with Ru, Tamil Ru. Does that have any significance why we are using Ru?
We don't want to use Devanagari, that's all.
Tamil Nadu government has taken certain initiative in order to enlighten all sections of the society. It is a budget in Tamil. It is budget meant for Tamil Nadu. That number has not been changed. Only letter. Letter, yes, it is Tamil language. I don't think anything has been done in violation of the constitution.
Meanwhile, a DMK delegation met Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy in the national capital over the delimitation row. Revanth Reddy attacked the centre, claiming that the NDA government is conspiring against southern states. The DMK delegation will also meet the BRS in an attempt to muster support.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin has sent his delegation to invite me to 22nd meeting in Chennai regarding Government of India and Bharatiya Janata Party is conspiring against southern states in the name of delimitation. Delimitation is going to limitation for south. This is not delimitation. This is limitation for south. At any cost, we are not going to accept that limitation. We are paying more tax than North India. We are more entrepreneurs. We are contributing everything for the nation. But Bharatiya Janata Party wants to settle score against South India. Why? Because South Indians are never allowed to grow Bharatiya Janata Party.
Delimitation is a very important and burning issue which will affect the entire South, and not only the entire South, it will affect the Northeast states and states like Punjab. Our Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has taken up this issue and he wants to unite the opposition parties in this country to come together as one voice. On 22nd, we will be discussing about delimitation, taking opinions from across the states, and together as one voice, our leader and Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, will take forward this delimitation issue, and we will fight to save and protect our rights.
And that's the latest from the top stories from down south. We're going to take a quick break now. More news and updates on the other side.
You work
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we started the day in one place. Things kind of went sideways in a number of directions, and we ended up back at the same place that we were yesterday. And so everything is on the table. But when we're talking about sort of non-tariff retaliation, it could be about restricting supply. It could be putting our own export duties on products. It could be energy and minerals. It could be broader than that. But certainly, you know, the strategic nature, particularly of critical minerals, makes it one of the more obvious targets, because the alternative for the United States to actually get it is from China. There's a certain amount that you can ship by rail, but by and large, you couldn't displace the 4 million barrels that we send to the United States in pipelines. But I would say it works on the other side of the bucket too. So the refineries in the Midwest and in the Gulf Coast are set up to use heavy crude. The United States doesn't produce much heavy crude. It's mainly light sweet crude. And so in order to displace Canadian crude from those refineries, you would basically have to retrofit them all, which would be tens of billions of dollars and probably 5 to 10 years of work. So I actually think the oil that's coming down here is pretty sticky, in the sense that I don't think it's displaceable. And so in that regard, I don't think the threat to Canada's producers in the oil sector is as significant as perhaps in other sectors. It's absolutely on the list, of things that we could do, because you're right, ethanol is coming into Canada. It is actually cheaper than Canadian options right now, in large measure because the Inflation Reduction Act actually provides some significant subsidies for biofuels in general.
Donald Trump has defended his use of tariffs and dismissed concerns about market volatility sparked by the global trade turmoil. Speaking to a gathering of business leaders in Washington on Tuesday, the US president said his trade policy was already showing results.
We have car companies that are not building in Mexico now. They're building in the United States. Some of them, the plants were already started and they stopped construction, and now they're going to build in the United States. It was very unfair that They'd build in Mexico and sell them across the border with no tax, no nothing.
In the audience were around 100 CEOs, and some of them may be feeling growing unease. They've all seen some $4 trillion wiped off the value of US stocks in recent weeks, amid fears over the impact of the trade war. Businesses have also been concerned by the volatility of the tariffs, which have been variously imposed and delayed, raised and lowered. On Tuesday there was more of that, with turmoil over duties on Canadian metals. Early in the day, Trump said he would double levies to 50%. He was responding to a move by the Canadian province of Ontario to impose its own tariffs on electricity supplied to America. Hours later, Ontario dropped the move, and Trump said US duties would stick at 25%. The fresh day of turmoil drove another down day for stocks, outweighing glimmers of hope over a Ukraine ceasefire. More big firms, including retailer Kohl's, also warned that the darkening economic outlook was hitting sales. In the end, the Dow Jones Index closed the day down another 1%. But if that worries Trump, it didn't show on Tuesday.
The tariffs are having a tremendously positive impact. They will have, and they are having.
Trump said his tariffs would generate a lot of money for the US and could be raised even higher in the days ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we started the day in one place. Things kind of went sideways in a number of directions, and we ended up back at the same place that we were yesterday. And so everything is on the table. But when we're talking about sort of non-tariff retaliation, it could be about restricting supply. It could be putting our own export duties on products. It could be energy and minerals. It could be broader than that. But certainly, you know, the strategic nature, particularly of critical minerals, makes it one of the more obvious targets, because the alternative for the United States to actually get it is from China. There's a certain amount that you can ship by rail, but by and large, you couldn't displace the 4 million barrels that we send to the United States in pipelines. But I would say it works on the other side of the bucket too. So the refineries in the Midwest and in the Gulf Coast are set up to use heavy crude. The United States doesn't produce much heavy crude. It's mainly light sweet crude. And so in order to displace Canadian crude from those refineries, you would basically have to retrofit them all, which would be tens of billions of dollars and probably 5 to 10 years of work. So I actually think the oil that's coming down here is pretty sticky, in the sense that I don't think it's displaceable. And so in that regard, I don't think the threat to Canada's producers in the oil sector is as significant as perhaps in other sectors. It's absolutely on the list, of things that we could do, because you're right. Ethanol is coming into Canada. It is actually cheaper than Canadian options right now, in large measure because the Inflation Reduction Act actually provides some significant subsidies for biofuels in general.
Donald Trump has defended his use of tariffs and dismissed concerns about market volatility sparked by the global trade turmoil. Speaking to a gathering of business leaders.
And welcome back. Maharashtra Minister Nitesh Rane has stoked controversy by announcing the Malhar certification for mutton shops selling jhatka meat operated by Hindus. Rane is urging Hindus to purchase from Malhar certified shops, claiming it guarantees no adulteration. The initiative, launched online, does not have official government approval and is positioned as an alternative to halal certification. The minister urged Hindus to not buy mutton from shops which don't have Malhar certification. The website further states that via Malhar certification, the meat is fresh, clean and not mixed with any other animal meat. Congress has accused the minister of raising communal tensions, but speaking to CNN News 18's Yashra Kotak, Rane says that the initiative has been launched keeping in mind the welfare of Hindus.
We've seen how you've spoken about the Malhar certification, particularly to distinguish jhatka meat for Hindus. So where did this whole idea come from? Is this a government stance, or sir, this is something that we see you as a concerned minister is speaking about? If you could shed some light on that.
First of all, let me make it clear. It's an initiative that started by Hindutva Mindsets organization, which is represents the Khatik Hindu Dalit Samaj, and they have all come together in order to start this initiative all over Maharashtra, then eventually pan India, and then, if possible, internationally too. So they have come together in order to shortlist shops which have been run by Hindu traders and which can give jhatka mutton, which can sell jhatka mutton to the Hindu community. As you rightly know, in our Hindu religion, we cannot eat halal meat as we do not follow Islam. So as this proposal came to, as they all approached me in order to endorse this kind of a business or this kind of an idea that they are starting. So I encouraged them, I endorsed it, and that is why that day that website was inaugurated through my hands. So obviously it is not a government initiative. It is not an initiative started by any ministry in the government, but it is an initiative started by representatives from the Hindu community, sir.
And I'm joined by my colleague Yasha Kotak on the broadcast, who had that conversation with the Maharashtra minister. Yasha, so clearly Nitesh Rane is making it very clear that the Hindu community wanted additional safeguards. That's why Malhar certification has come in. But why is the Congress party having such a problem with this?
So yeah, absolutely. In fact, this is not the first such instance where a statement like this, which is dividing Hindus and Muslims, has been made by the minister Nitesh Rane. In fact, there have been earlier instances as well where Nitesh Rane had also made statements to the lines that Lati Bahin Yojana, which was the pet project of the Maharashtra government, was something that should not be applicable for the Muslim women. So, considering the fact that these statements have been come, or something that Nitesh Rane has been speaking about time and again, is what the opposition has been pinpointing. Here, the stand that has been taken by the opposition against Nitesh Rane also is important or crucial to in fact pinpoint the role of the government here. Of course, Nitesh Rane has gone further and mentioned that this is not the stand being taken by the government, but it was by some like-minded Hindu organization which came forward and asked Nitesh Rane to be a part of this whole initiative. But because this is something that has been allocated by a minister, is where the opposition members have also been questioning, saying, is the chief minister aware of something like this that is taking place? And how is it that a person who is at a ministry level can speak of divisive politics when it comes to a stance like this? However, in his defense, Nitesh Rane has also gone further and drawn a comparison of jhatka meat to halal certification as well, stating that if halal is something that is accepted as a whole by the community, why is it that now Malhar certification, which could work in the benefit of the Hindu community, is something that now draws criticism by the people? Yes, I see.
Right. Thank you, Yasha, for giving us the latest. Let's listen into more reactions coming in.
मंत्री करके ये बातें ऐसी नहीं करनी चाहिए. देखो, संविधान ने इस देश को सभी धर्मों का सम्मान और आदर करने का सिखाया है, और हम ओथ भी लेते हैं तो उस ओथ में किसी के बारे में हम लोग ये विरोध करना ये नहीं है. तो सवाल इतना ही आता है कि नितेश राणे ये बेतुकी जो बातें कर रहे हैं तो ये किसके इशारे पर कर रहे हैं.
And shifting focus, the Love Jihad debate has now reached the state of Kerala. The Syro Malabar Church has extended support to statements made by BJP leader PC George days after he said that Christian girls should get married by the age of 21, citing Love Jihad. The church said that there is truth in what PC George said about the spread of drug addiction, love traps and terrorist activities. The Syro Malabar Public Affairs Commission has also urged the central and state governments to conduct a high-level inquiry into the issues raised by PC George.
ನಮ್ದು ವರ್ಷಪಟ್ಟ ಮೀನಿದ ತಾರೀಕು ಮಾತ್ರ എത്രയൊക്കെ തിരിച്ചിട്ട് 49 തിരിച്ചാണ് സമയക്കൊണ്ട് തിരിച്ചു ഈ ക്രിസ്ത്യാനിക്ക് ഒരു 25-30 പറഞ്ഞാലും ഇന്നലെ കൊച്ചു വയസ്സ് 25 ഇന്നലെ ആ 9:30 പോയത് അഭിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. ഞാൻ 25 വെച്ചാൽ കുഞ്ഞിനെ പിടിച്ചു വെച്ചാൽ അത്രയും കഴി കൊടുക്കണ്ടേ, അതിനെ കെട്ടിച്ചുടാൻ നമ്മുടെ ചർച്ചയുടെ പ്രശ്നമാണ്. എന്നോട് ക്ഷമിക്കണം ഞാനെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഒരു 18-19 വയസ്സായി പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് 22-23 വയസ്സാകുമ്പോൾ കുഞ്ഞിനെ കെട്ടിച്ചു വിടണ്ടേ? ആ മര്യാദ കാണിക്കും. 25 വയസ്സാകുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നില്ല പെണ്ണുങ്ങൾക്കാണ് സന്തോഷം. മുസ്ലിം പെണ്ണുങ്ങൾ കഴിക്കുന്നില്ലല്ലോ, എന്താ കാര്യം? 18 തികയുമ്പോൾ പിടിച്ച് കെട്ടിക്കുക. നമ്മളോ ഒരു 28-29 ആയാലും വല്ല ശമ്പളം കിട്ടുന്നവരെ കെട്ടിക്കുകയില്ല. അതിന്റെ ശമ്പളം പോകാൻ കൂട്ടി എടുക്കാവുന്ന.
Mr. P.C. George has been repeatedly even warned by the High Court of Kerala, warning him that he should not indulge in all these talks of creating divisions in the society. But unfortunately, he has been saying he's been trying to again create divide, because I think he wants to be noticed by the BJP leadership under instructions from BJP that they should try every experiment with Kerala and try to destroy the secular fabric of Kerala.
I don't want to comment on PC George because he is already ill-famous due to his controversial remarks. He was in jail for some days, last week. And no one take him seriously. So leave him. He is a gone case.
And breaking news coming in from Tamil Nadu, where DMK Minister Durai Murugan has stoked a controversy. He says people of Tamil Nadu believe in one man for one woman, but in the north, 5 to 10 men marry one woman. That is what they consider civilized. Listen in to what he had to say. And that is the pitch that's come in from the DMK minister that has stoked a controversy. We'll try to get that reaction, that bite from the DMK minister. But this is the statement that has been made by Durai Murugan. He has said that in Tamil Nadu, the people of Tamil Nadu believe that there should be a union between one man and one woman. But in the north, 5 to 10 men marry one woman. This is what they consider civilized. So taking on North Indians once again. This has been the constant politicking that has taken place in Tamil Nadu in the past as well. Remember, at one point a DMK minister even said that Hindi is only good to sell pani puri. So clearly along the same lines, the same attacks are coming in. I'm joined by my colleague Purnima Murli on the broadcast. So Purnima, Hindi imposition, if you have the delimitation case and now targeted attacks on North Indians by top DMK leaders, clearly Stalin setting the tone for the assembly elections next year.
Absolutely. While the war of words between the BJP and the DMK is only escalating and snowballing, and is going to do so in the days and months to come, this statement of DMK Minister Durai Murugan made it well yesterday, because yesterday was when the DMK had called for public meeting across the districts and in Vellore. While there was a statement of DMK minister on various issues including delimitation, one statement of his is seeing massive outrage here, where he said, spoke about polygamy and said it happens in the north unlike in the south, while he was trying to make a reference about delimitation and family planning programs that are successfully implemented in the southern state. And this statement of his hasn't gone down well, where the minister is facing backlash, but the DMK so far has not responded to this statement of the DMK minister. We'll have to now wait and see how the DMK reacts to this particular speech made by Durai Murugan.
Right, but clearly, Purnima, given the fact that the DMK has taken that stand on Sanatan Dharma, they've taken that stand on Hindi as well, it seems that the DMK will only double down on this statement coming in from the DMK minister, given the politically charged environment ahead of the elections.
Absolutely. In fact, the BJP and other parties have said that such statements should not be made, especially, and they say that it is not surprising that this comes from a minister, because the BJP alleges that ministers and MPs are known to make such statements, and this is something that is on expected lines from the DMK. That's the statement that's coming from the BJP, but we'll have to wait and see how the DMK now responds to this particular speech made by the minister, because this speech of his that is facing massive outrage, and the DMK so far has not reacted. All eyes on how the DMK will take this up, considering that there are issues that the DMK plans to pick up in the coming days. But this statement, which in fact has triggered a lot of outrage on social media as well. We'll have to see how the DMK now responds to this. All eyes on the DMK's response.
Right. Thank you, Purnima, for joining us on the broadcast with that piece of breaking news. Before we shift focus, let's listen in to that reaction by Durai Murugan. And shifting focus, former Pakistan cricketer Danish Kaneria has claimed that his career was ruined due to discrimination inside Pakistan. Speaking at a congressional briefing in Washington, he highlighted the challenges faced by minorities inside Pakistan. Listen in.
जिस सिलसिले में हम यहाँ जमा हुए सबने अपना एक वो रखा प्रस्ताव जैसे उनके साथ ट्रीट किया गया, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जिसने फेस किया, और एक आवाज़ बुलंद की सबने जिनके साथ, क्योंकि मेरे साथ भी ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन वाली चीज़ हुई है, बहुत ज़्यादा हुई है, मेरे कैरियर को तबाह किया है, ख़त्म किया है, और जिसकी वजह से जो इज़्ज़त इक्वल वैल्यूज़ मुझे मिलनी चाहिए थी वो नहीं मिली पाकिस्तान में, जिसकी वजह से हम यूएस में हैं अभी, और इससे और ज़्यादा हमें मिल सकता था, इज़्ज़त मिल सकती थी मुझे। और सब ने, जो लोग आए हुए थे, उन्होंने सब ने अपना जो है वो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के खिलाफ बात करी है, जिस तरीके से पाकिस्तान ने ट्रीट किया है उनके खिलाफ बात की है। तो मेन मकसद वही था कि अवेयरनेस करवाना था, सबको बताना था, स्पेशली यूएसए को भी हम बताना चाह रहे थे कि कितने लोग सफ़र करते, कितना ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, तो उस पर ज़रा एक्शन ले।
And I'm joined by my colleague Vineet Ramakrishnan on the broadcast. So Vineet, clearly there is a PR disaster that Pakistan is facing in the wake of the Champions Trophy. And now these stunning charges coming in from Danish Kaneria when it comes to pressure to convert by none other than Shahid Afridi.
Well, yes, I mean, Danish Kaneria's allegations are kind of a reiteration only about the religious discrimination. You know, during his time with the national team, he had pointed fingers at Shahid Afridi and other teammates for not really discriminating him and really not having lunch with him, not dinner, and even going ahead and saying Afridi did talk to him about turning or converting to Islam. But the fact of the matter is, these allegations first came in 2019. It was when Shoaib Akhtar had, in a way, sided with Danish Kaneria, saying that, you know, he was facing discrimination, and Danish Kaneria went on to acknowledge those claims. And later on, Shahid Afridi has been refuting these claims, but definitely there is certain discrimination that Danish Kaneria, only the second Hindu cricketer to play for Pakistan after his cousin Anil Dalpat played. There was certain discrimination that was going on, but you have to take these kind of remarks from Kaneria now, because he's just reiterating those with a pinch of salt, because his career in a way was ruined because he was part of a spot fixing scandal, and he was banned for life from England, and from there on it has been a downhill for him. He did represent Pakistan in 61 tests and played 18 ODIs, had a very controversial career, had a very fleeting career, so to speak, but there are nothing new in terms of what these allegations are. But as you mentioned, yeah, definitely is a difficult time for Pakistan cricket after what happened with the Champions Trophy, the team's performance and all the other things, and now Danish Kaneria reiterating something that he has been on about for past 6-7 years.
Right. Thank you, Vineet, for getting us the latest on that front. And a stunning charge coming in from former Pakistani cricketer Danish Kaneria, saying that Shahid Afridi pressured him to convert. This coming amid the PR disaster following the Champions Trophy as well. We will continue to track all the developments coming in. For now, a quick break. More news and updates on the other side.
Brought to you by
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we started the day in one place. Things kind of went sideways in a number of directions, and we ended up back at the same place that we were yesterday. And so everything is on the table. But when we're talking about sort of non-tariff retaliation, it could be about restricting supply. It could be putting our own export duties on products. It could be energy and minerals. It could be broader than that. But certainly, the strategic nature, particularly of critical minerals, makes it one of the more obvious targets because the alternative for the United States to actually get it is from China. There's a certain amount that you can ship by rail, but by and large, you couldn't displace the 4 million barrels that we send to the United States in pipelines. But I would say it works on the other side of the bucket too. So the refineries in the Midwest and in the Gulf Coast are set up to use heavy crude. The United States doesn't produce much heavy crude. It's mainly light sweet crude. And so in order to displace Canadian crude from those refineries, you would basically have to retrofit them all, which would be tens of billions of dollars and probably 5 to 10 years of work. So I actually think the oil that's coming down here is pretty sticky in the sense that I don't think it's displaceable. And so in that regard, I don't think the threat to Canada's producers in the oil sector is as significant as perhaps in other sectors. It's absolutely on the list, of things that we could do, because you're right. Ethanol is coming into Canada. It is actually cheaper than Canadian options right now, in large measure because the Inflation Reduction Act actually provides some significant subsidies for biofuels in general.
Donald Trump has defended his use of tariffs and dismissed concerns about market volatility sparked by the global trade turmoil. Speaking to a gathering of business leaders in Washington on Tuesday, the US president said his trade policy was already showing results.
We have car companies that are not building in Mexico now. They're building in the United States. Some of them, the plants were already started and they stopped construction, and now they're going to build in the United States. It was very unfair that they'd build in Mexico and sell them across the border with no tax, no nothing.
In the audience were around 100 CEOs, and some of them may be feeling growing unease. They've all seen some $4 trillion wiped off the value of US stocks in recent weeks, amid fears over the impact of the trade war. Businesses have also been concerned by the volatility of the tariffs, which have been variously imposed and delayed, raised and lowered. On Tuesday there was more of that, with turmoil over duties on Canadian metals. Early in the day, Trump said he would double levies to 50%. He was responding to a move by the Canadian province of Ontario to impose its own tariffs on electricity supplied to America. Hours later, Ontario dropped the move, and Trump said US duties would stick at 25%. The fresh day of turmoil drove another down day for stocks, outweighing glimmers of hope over a Ukraine ceasefire. More big firms, including retailer Kohl's, also warned that the darkening economic outlook was hitting sales. In the end, the Dow Jones Index closed the day down another 1%. But if that worries Trump, it didn't show on Tuesday.
The tariffs are having a tremendously positive impact. They will have, and they are having.
Trump said his tariffs would generate a lot of money for the US and could be raised even higher in the days ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we started the day in one place. Things kind of went sideways in a number of directions, and we ended up back at the same place that we were yesterday. And so everything is on the table. But when we're talking about sort of non-tariff retaliation, it could be about restricting supply. It could be putting our own export duties on products. It could be energy and minerals. It could be broader than that. But certainly, the strategic nature, particularly of critical minerals, makes it one of the more obvious targets because the alternative for the United States to actually get it is from China. There's a certain amount that you can ship by rail, but by and large, you couldn't displace the 4 million barrels that we send to the United States in pipelines. But I would say it works on the other side of the bucket too. So the refineries in the Midwest and in the Gulf Coast are set up to use heavy crude. The United States doesn't produce much heavy crude. It's mainly light sweet crude. And so in order to displace Canadian crude from those refineries, you would basically have to retrofit them all, which would be tens of billions of dollars and probably 5 to 10 years of work. So I actually think the oil that's coming down here is pretty sticky in the sense that I don't think it's displaceable. And so in that regard, I don't think the threat to Canada's producers in the oil sector is as significant as perhaps in other sectors. It's absolutely on the list, of things that we could do, because you're right, ethanol is coming into Canada. It is actually cheaper than Canadian options right now, in large measure because the Inflation Reduction Act actually provides some significant subsidies for biofuels in general.
Donald Trump has defended his use of tariffs and dismissed concerns about market volatility sparked by the global trade turmoil. Speaking to a gathering of business leaders in Washington on Tuesday, the US president said his trade policy was already showing results.
We have car companies that are not building in Mexico now. They're building in the United States. Some of them, the plants were already started and they stopped construction, and now they're going to build in the United States. It was very unfair that they'd build in Mexico and sell them across the border with no tax, no nothing.
In the audience were around 100 CEOs, and some of them may be feeling growing unease. They've all seen some $4 trillion wiped off the value of US stocks in recent weeks, amid fears over the impact of the trade war. Businesses have also been concerned by the volatility of the tariff.
And welcome back to the Nation at 5. Now, controversy has erupted in Telangana over Holi celebrations, where curbs have been imposed by the Hyderabad police as well as the Cyberabad police when it comes to Holi celebrations in public. The BJP has called it appeasement politics. Just listen in to what BJP Shahzad Poonawalla had to say.
The Telangana government of Congress party is putting restrictions on Hindus from celebrating their own festival of Holi. Unheard of, absurd restrictions. Talibani anti-Hindu mindset of the Congress is exposed. They have done this in the past for other Hindu festivals too. Have they done this for festivals of other religions? They should come out and clarify. You mock Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha, you mock Dwarka, and now you are putting clampdown on the festivals of Hindus. Where should a Hindu celebrate? Should he celebrate Hindus' festival, Holi, etc. in Afghanistan? Should he celebrate in Pakistan? Or should we celebrate within India? This question should be answered.
And I'm joined by my colleague PV Ramanna on the broadcast. So Ramanna, when it comes to this entire controversy, the big charge coming in from the BJP is that this is nothing more than appeasement politics. But clearly, the Hyderabad police just putting out regulations to ensure that there is public decorum during Holi.
Yeah, the Hyderabad City Police and Cyberabad Police issued strict guidelines ahead of Holi festival, which will be celebrated tomorrow, that is March 14th. They say that to ensure the public safety and preventive of disturbances. This is the police version, in fact. As per the notification, throwing the colors or water on unwilling individuals and as well as smearing colors on vehicles or public spaces without their consent. A group of vehicles movement also, there was a restriction on the movement of the vehicles also. According to the order, the people who violate these orders, they will be penalized under, they mentioned some sections also, section 76 or something under Police Act, in fact. So this is erupting the controversy in Telangana because BJP is strongly condemning the act of the police and as well as the government. BJP MLA Mr. Raja Singh says that it's a completely anti-Hindu agenda by the Telangana government, especially the Chief Minister Revanth Reddy and all. And he says that ever since the Congress government came into the power, Hindu temples have been attacked, attempts are being made to ban Hindu festival. This is a version from the MLA Raja Singh. He says and he compared Chief Minister Revanth Reddy as a Nizam. He's behaving like a Nizam and all. He wantedly suppressing the Hindu festivals. He was wantedly suppressing the Hindu individuals. This is the main. That's why the government has to change their mind. This is a demand from the BJP MLA Raja Singh itself. How to see how the government will react. The police says that to ensure the public safety and law and order in the city only, we are coming up with these kind of the guidelines. Every time we'll come up with these guidelines, but this time they included the roaming and the vehicles in the group is one of the thing which was added newly by the police. So meanwhile, along with the Holi, there is here in of course, it's everywhere. Ramzan month is going on to maintain the law and order, to cut down the issues. Police came up with these kind of regulations and all. How to see how it will be come to the force within 10 to 15 minutes. It's from the today's evening 6 p.m. to 15th March morning 6 a.m. This is a regulation time. This is a restricted timing which was mentioned by the police. How to see how the government will act, how the police will act on this, and tomorrow is the festival. How the festival will be celebrated? How to see on this particular after these instructions.
Right. Thank you, Ramana, for joining us on the broadcast with the latest on that front. By shifting focus, the Attukal Bhagwati temple in Kerala hosts the Attukal Pongal festival, a 10-day celebration honoring goddess Kannagi. Thousands of women gather to offer Pongal, a sweet dish, to the goddess on the 9th day. My colleague Nadu gets us this report.
It's Attukal Pongala in Thiruvananthapuram. This is the day that lakhs of women come out on the streets of Thiruvananthapuram, starting from the temple premises in Attukal and offer Pongala to Attukal Devi. As we can see, this is the offering that these women prepare. Rice, jaggery, the sweet dishes made out of rice mainly. Then there are also several other items which they put like the therelis. Here all this is done in earthen pots. So from 10:15, that is the time when the hearth was lit first inside the temple, and from there it is spread to different parts of the city, not just in the temple area but across the city. Lakhs of women from the entire state and some even from other states and abroad come back to Thiruvananthapuram to offer this Attukal Pongala. This is the offering that these women give to the Attukal Devi, and at 2:15 there will be sprinkling of holy water on these earthen things. That is when the Pongala ritual comes to an end.
And shifting focus to some international news, former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested in Manila on charges of murder related to his controversial war on drugs campaign. The International Criminal Court confirmed his arrest. These charges stem from the killings of alleged drug dealers and users during Duterte's presidency, which critics have labelled as extrajudicial. I'll leave you with this report. Thank you for watching.
Far from the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, the country's former president, now in The Hague, and accused of crimes against humanity. His dramatic arrest in Manila on Tuesday, the result of an international criminal court warrant only served after a U-turn by the country's current president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
My order to them was that if they are holding a gun, kill them immediately, so there will be one less criminal.
Dubbed the Punisher, Duterte oversaw a brutal, years-long crackdown on drug pushers that allegedly left thousands dead. More than 6,000 people were killed, according to police data, but independent monitors believe that the number could be into the tens of thousands, including bystanders caught in the crossfire.
What is the crime that I committed?
Duterte has repeatedly denied the extrajudicial killing of alleged drug suspects, and although the verdict could take years, his arrest is significant. First, because the former Filipino president will be one of a very small number of former leaders to have ever been taken to trial, but also because the Philippines had actually withdrawn from the ICC under Duterte in 2019. The court argues, however, that the crimes were allegedly committed when it did have jurisdiction. And the ICC has plans for other world leaders too, though it relies on the cooperation of national governments to execute its warrants. It's seeking the arrest of both Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity for Israel's actions in Gaza, and Russian President Vladimir Putin for his invasion of Ukraine.
Justice for all the victims of Duterte's crimes.
Outside the ICC, celebrations of a step that some say means that justice will at last be done.
Good evening, you're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. For weeks now, the language debate has dominated political discourse in Tamil Nadu and triggered a bitter war of words between the central government and the ruling DMK in the state. Taking it one step forward, the state government dropped the official rupee symbol from the Tamil letter and replaced it with the Tamil letter Ru from the state budget papers. The state budget is going to be presented for 2025-2026, and Chief Minister of the state, M.K. Stalin, shared a teaser for that state budget. He did so on social media. He added the hashtag Dravidian model on it. So far, there has